So in section 6.3, part 1, we take a look at the multiplication principle. So sometimes we'll need more sophisticated counting techniques in probability. And the multiplication principle is the first of those techniques. So we're going to start off with an example and show you how to use it and then do the theorem itself. So there are 3 roads that can connect Mozilla to Bozeman. So I'm just going to write the information down. So 3 roads that go from Mozilla to Bozeman. Then there are 2 more roads that connect Bozeman to Waterton. We want to find the number of ways we can journey from Missoula to Waterton can be made. And I'm going to do it 2 different pictures. So the first one is really a map kind of picture. So let's take a look at a map. So if here's Missoula with an M, and here's Bozeman, and there are 3 different roads that go that way. So there's 3 of them. And just to make our lives easier, let's call that 1, 2, and 3. And then over here is Waterton. And there are 2 roads that connect Bozeman with Waterton. And let's call those X and Y just for lettering. Okay, so how many ways can I go from Mozilla to Waterton? Well, I can take road 1 followed by road X. So that would be going here and then here. I could take road 1, but follow it by road Y because maybe it's more scenic. I could take road 2, which is a direct route, and then follow road X. Or I could take road 2 and then follow road Y. Finally, I could take road 3 followed by road X, or road 3 followed by road Y. So if I count them, I can see altogether that there are 6 ways to travel from Mozilla to Waterton. So that's just from a map point of view looking at it. Let's come back in and use something called a tree diagram. And tree diagrams are really handy for us to use in probability. So it's nice to introduce it here. So what we're going to do for our first tree diagram is here we are at Missoula, and we're going to take our 3 roads again. So here's road 1, here's road 2, and here's road 3. The only difference is that at each one of these is Bozeman. So here's road 3. So here's where Bozeman is. So that's how I got from Missoula to Bozeman. And from each of those, we're going to branch off using the X and the Y. So here's X and Y. Here's X and Y. And then down here again is X and Y. And then at the end of each of these, there's Y, here's X, is Waterton. So at the end, we're at Waterton. So we can see that here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, and finally here's 6. The same 6 possibilities, just from a different picture. So kind of looks like a family tree with branchings for parents and siblings and things like that. Okay, so the multiplication principle then comes in and tells us that if we take the 3 roads that it takes to go from Missoula to Bozeman and multiply that by the 2 roads that go from Bozeman to Waterton, we end up with 6 different ways. Now, this last method right here is called the multiplication principle, and it simply says that suppose a task, such as going from Missoula to Bozeman, that's task 1, can be accomplished in N1 ways, which was 3. Suppose a second task, going from Bozeman to Waterton, can be accomplished in N2 ways, so number of 2. Then the number of ways of performing task 1, task 2, in that order is given by the product of the number of ways for 1 times the number of ways for 2. And of course, you can extend this if you have more of them. But that's our beginning or introduction into that idea. So this is the multiplication principle. So let's do another quick example just to get you used to it in our first part. So our next example is totally unrelated to that first one, but yet we can still use this multiplication principle. So this is example 2. Example 2 says that there are 8 basketball teams in a tournament. Find a number of ways first place, second, and third place can be decided as ties are not allowed. So we have 8 teams. And we want to know the number of ways that first, second, and third can be decided. Now, the first, second, and third are our tasks. There are 8 ways to pick that first team. So if you pick, you've got the 8 team captains sitting out there. I take 1 team captain and put him into first spot. But now I look back out there, and now there are only 7 team captains to choose from when I go to pick second place. So now 2 of them were picked. When I go back over there to look for the next one, there are only 6 choices left for that third spot. So the number of ways we can have first place, second place, and third place is 8 times 7 times 6, which comes out to be 336 ways that we can have the top 3 finishers in a tournament.